Hey, another video, fuel system. So fuel tanks are, and you're in the back of the boat here, you got a fuel tank. That's the water tank there, and it says water on it. The fuel tank says diesel on it. They're the green ones right down there. The fuel tank itself, right, is right in. So down the back hatch here, so looking down below in here, and there is the fuel tanks. They're right there, and that's the fill pipe right there. It comes up right above that. So it's nice and simple. It's right there. Sender vent lines and everything else. The vent comes right out of the middle. That's the vent, that little thing right there, and just below the sheet, main sheet there. And the other part of the fuel system, and close the hatch. Right. Okay, center locker here. Okay, so looking down in the engine, I'm sitting on the hammock seat here, looking down in the engine. Okay, there's the back of the transmission. There's the muffler right down there. So there's your Raycor right on the side. And if you need to take that Raycor off, it's good and accessible. What I do when I take this off is again, get crappy fuel. The bowl is right there. You can see the bowl. That bolt comes off. I think it's a 1/2-inch wrench. That's the vent. And then you just unscrew the thing. And if you're stuck, actually I'll leave you there's an oil filter wrench on here. Soft oil filter wrench. Once in a blue moon it gets stuck. Actually once in my whole time that got stuck. The other thing, but you can see this, there's a filter on the engine, and it is right there. It just screws off, and pretty much by hand you can screw that off. And it's got a little sort of paper filter cartridge, and I've checked that a few times, and it's been immaculately clean. I think the Raycor cleans absolutely everything. Okay, so that's it. So it comes from the tanks, but now, one last thing. These two things are your fuel selector valves. Okay? There's a tank on either side of the boat. Right now, they are pointing, I'm sitting in I'm looking forward. I'm looking at the starboard side there right now. And that valve right here, and I can change it from there around to there. Okay, and it's got a click there, which I believe is off, which I don't usually use. It's pointed over towards the starboard. There's another one of them right next to it. One of them is the return. Now this one is obviously, because that hooks up to the Raycor. Okay, oops, the sun is messing everything up here. Hooks the Raycor, goes straight to there. So that's the fuel in. And the other one on the other side is the return. Okay, it's got an electric fuel pump, which is right there. Okay, and it's the electric fuel pump. And it's absolutely great because you don't have to worry when you're running fuel at primes, but it does have a return on it, so it's always polishing the fuel. It's almost an engine is running, another nice thing. And yeah, you want to change over, you just flip the two of them. So the two of them got to be pointing the same direction, otherwise you're going to pump from one tank to the other. You might overfill your tank, come up the drain. You don't want to do that. So there you go. That's the fuel system, and yeah, it works like a charm. It's been absolutely great, and had bad fuel a few times, and fill up Raycors, a bunch of Raycors in this boat down the port hull in the locker, in the little thing where I keep all the manuals and everything else. A whole bunch of Raycors there, so never get caught without them. Yeah, that's fuel system. Oh yeah, last thing, I'm still videoing. I always, when I fill up the tanks, and I just filled up the tanks for the off season for the new owner, and I'll put fuel conditioner in and stuff to removes moisture. I think the thing runs just a little bit better when it has that in the system, and I don't know what it is, cetane enhancing too, I think, but if you read the fine print, but anyway, maybe imagine things, but I do use it. I do like to use that. So just a little splash in each tank. Oh yeah, fuel gauges. The fuel gauges in this thing are pretty good, but this I just filled it right to the top, and you can see those things. They just go above the 3/4, and they'll actually hit empty and there's still lots of bounce on empty. But yeah, the range, the sender and the gauges don't quite go to full, but that's completely full tanks. And when you fill it, you'll hear when you get to the top of the tank too. You actually can see the level because the filler line's only 8 inches long straight down, so you can see it when you're filling.